There are some people that are analytical. They need all the information and all the facts. The thing is, when we run into these people, we just want to go around it. We don't want to deal with that. And that's the worst thing to do. Find out more about logical creators right now.
Welcome to Leadership Mindset 2.0. Practical neuroscience and psychology to transform you from a tactical doer into a strategic leader. Here is your host, former Social Entrepreneur of the Year and coach to some of the world's top executives, R. Michael Anderson.
Hello, leaders. Michael here. Now, we got some good stuff for you. So if you are a logical creator, that you're going to learn about you. And if you have logical creators in your life, which most of us do, you're going to learn about how to interact with them. First, Kalina says, I tested as a visionary influencer, and I think I tested this way because I love relationships, teamwork, and I think it's fun. I'm highly optimistic. However, I'm detail-oriented. I think some subordinates, coworkers would describe me as a dominant commander because I'm blunt and direct, want results, and have high standards. I can also be analytical. I don't think I'm unorganized or have imposter syndrome, etc. So there's a lot here to look into. I think you're trying to figure out where you are. A couple different things, and you'll learn this more in two more sessions when we go over all the leadership types at one time. But it's like a cross, like you have a dominant commander, a visionary influencer, logical creator, a supportive collaborator. And maybe what you are is you're on the cusp of dominant commander, visionary influencer. But also you can be closer to the center. So some people are fairly well-rounded. Almost everybody thinks they're well-rounded. Then we go through this and dig into the details, and they're actually not well-rounded. They just are adapting. You'll understand this in a second. But you may be like a visionary influencer, dominant commander, closer to the line. But you can also be farther out or further in. So you can be like a huge dominant commander or just a little bit of a dominant commander type thing, so that there is more leeway that way. We can change during our lives. I was in a visionary influencer, then I moved back to dominant commander, logical creator, because I had to do more sales. I was in sales for a couple of years. So we can shift, but we also can adapt based on what our role needs. And for example, maybe you are detail oriented because your role needs it. And that doesn't mean you're not good at details. That means that if you do details a lot, it takes away your energy. So for example, I'm very data oriented, but I'm good at relationships because I taught myself how to be good at relationships. But if I'm in a meeting with a lot of people for a long time, I get very drained. You could call that introverted because I'm on the very introverted side. So I like data. I could do spreadsheets and programming all day. It's funny, I'm a professional speaker. So when I speak, I love speaking, but it drains me. I'm really good at it, but it drains me. It's like I have to force myself to be good at small talk because it's not natural for me. So it's not what are you doing, it's what's natural. And the thing is, if your job is forcing you to spend a lot of time outside of your natural state, then it's going to drain your energy. So for example, maybe you are blunt and direct and you want results, but maybe that's not natural for you. I don't know if it is or not, but maybe it's not natural for you. So you've taught yourself to do that because that's what your team needs, or that's what you believe your team needs, or that's what your organization needs. However, it causes a lot of stress for you. And so when we find people aren't sleeping or maybe get sick or have low energy, sometimes it's because they are forced to act outside of where their natural abilities are. So it's just something, after hearing this, it would be great to reflect on that. What do you love doing? What's very natural to you? What, if you could do anything, what would you do? That type of thing. And then also, where are you being forced to adapt? We all adapt. I mean, that's a natural thing as humans. We're not stuck in this one way of doing things. So it's actually really good to do that. Let me know your thoughts on it if that helped. Any other questions? And again, everybody on here, put your questions here. I love answering them. And so many people get things off of you when you ask the questions. All right, now we're going to talk about good old logical creators. So last time we talked about visionary influencers, which are the high-level people, the strategic people, the big picture people that don't really enjoy details. Logical creators are the exact opposite. Because I'm a logical creator, I'm half logical creator, half dominant commander, I'm on the edge there. We love details. We are driven by data. We are driven by facts. We are often the accountants, the finance people. Sometimes the best salespeople are logical creators because they follow a really solid process and they really analyze what needs to be done. So logical creators can pop up in all different areas, some of the places you wouldn't think. So logical creators are driven by things that are orderly. We are often introverted. We often like to work alone because we can control everything and we can do a project. What really drives logical creators is, of course, doing everything properly and correctly. And we love tackling complex challenges because we get great satisfaction, internal satisfaction about getting given a complex problem and coming out with a great result. So that's one of our drivers. We're very precise, detail-oriented, conscientious. We think very analytically and systematically. Good researchers. What's really important to us is to do research and to make sure you haven't missed anything. So when you are persuading or selling to a logical creator, you have to give them all the information. You're not going to shorten a logical creator's decision-making process. So if you are looking to them for an answer, give them all the information up front. Don't try to rush them. That causes a lot of stress for logical creators. We'll make a decision when we looked at everything and analyzed all the different options. So if you're a salesperson, sales process, logical creators are going to have longer sales cycles, especially more than dominant commanders and visionary influencers. And you have to show them, prove to them with data why it's the best way going forward and show them all the alternatives. We are a bit solitary. We don't really see the benefit in relationships. We're in our own little world. We just like our data. We make objective decisions. We don't like emotional decisions. We don't really like emotions. So we're just fact-based. We can be a bit skeptical. We are very realistic, but we can be the person in the meeting where people bring up stuff and you're like, what about this? What about this? What about this? Because we are thinking how to achieve that. Sometimes we can come off as very serious, and our values are excellence and accuracy. We really love when we do a perfect job and everything is very accurate. Now, our blind spots, sometimes we're not good at motivating and inspiring a team because there's other people that are more relationship oriented and we're just giving the data and the facts. Sometimes we don't see the value in relationships, so we really need to get out there and make relationships. We have to understand everybody's not like us. Oftentimes, we're very good at being tactical, and we have to move to being strategic because we're very good at the nuts and bolts, and we always want to understand the details, so it's harder for us to look higher level. Over-analytical and perfectionism. So the problem when logical creators get into leadership is not just the relationship thing, but often in leadership, you have to make quick decisions without all the information. And that gives people like us a lot of stress because we're used to getting information, taking our time. But when you get into leadership, your schedule changes, you got to make quick decisions, you got to be decisive, and that's not the way logical creators are built. So we have to start adapting to working without a system, without things being perfect. And then we also have to let go of things tactically. We have to let go of the details, and we've got to train ourselves to think strategically. And we get too bogged down in the small details. And you'll know logical creators because their desk is very clean, orderly. They dress very precisely. Often they will have a bit of a monotonous voice. They will not talk with their hands. They will be very reserved. They will ask detailed questions. They won't be shy in asking detailed questions. They will feel that you have to prove to them everything with facts. So that is a bit about logical creators. So all your analytical people in your life, that is what they do. And so if you have people in meetings that seem to do that, you understand that's what they're trying to do. They're always trying to figure out how to make things work, how to make it work properly. And it's going to be great in 2 sessions when we talk about how all the different styles work together. It's really interesting how visionary influencers and logical creators work together. So that's the logical creator, driven by precision, data, getting it right. At their best, they're the most thorough, the most accurate and dependable people in the room. And at their worst, they get stuck in analyses, struggle to make fast calls, and can come across as cold in moments that need warmth. So your challenge, dear leader, are you a logical creator? If so, where do you have to get your head out of the details and develop relationships? Bring kindness and warmth. Remember, people are a bigger asset than anything else when you get into upper level leadership. And if you aren't developing your relationships, you need to start. If you have logical creators in your life, you need to slow down with them. Give them the information they need. Understand they are great assets, just like every other of the leadership type. You have to understand that type. That's it for today's episode, but I have one more question for you. Do you have an upcoming event that could benefit from a Leadership Mindset 2.0 keynote or facilitation? One of my favorite things to do is speak and work with groups at events and leadership meetings. If you want to learn more about my speaking, go to rmichaelanderson.com/speaking, where you can see me on stage and inquire about bringing me in for your event. Then we can both meet in person, and your team can get empowered with the latest mindset tools and strategies.